Hi everybody, welcome to Dragon's Cave. My name's Karen. This is hopefully going to be part of the fantasy collaboration organised by Tracey at Mini Scenes GB. As you can probably see, it's a fairy mould. What I'm going to attempt to do, well, my painting skills aren't that great, the detail in the wings I'm going to try to do with this silver powder. Then the dress is going to be this fantasy purplish. This I believe I got when I first started doing resin years ago on Amazon, although I don't doubt it's still available. The hair I'm going to try with this shining gold. Skin tones I'm going to attempt in this baby pink, and then after the silver detail is painted in, I'm going to go over the wings with this shining silver. So these three came in a set I got recently from Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll pop it down in the description. And then I will probably back the whole thing in white, because obviously, because the colours are pale, I don't really want a dark colour behind them. So I'm going to start, I think, with the skin tone. Just check my brush is clean. So this will be the easiest bit to do, I think. I'll try and do this as carefully as I can. I know I will have to do some cleanup, but I'm trying to give myself as little work as possible. I'm also trying to stay with what I'm doing. Right down into the toes, and right up the sides here. So when I get to the silver detail in the wings, I'll be mixing that powder with a little bit of alcohol. Turn it into more of a liquid to make it easier, hopefully. Go right up in here. Now she has her arms spread at the top of the wings. Okay, I think that's that one done. I'm slightly concerned because this seems to be going far too easy to begin with. It's not how my life works generally. Get this spread right up here as much as I can. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I have got a little bit of cleanup to do here. Right up into the fingers. Okay, I'm going to have to pick it up to do the face because I can't do it from this angle. Try and hold it so you can see what I'm doing. There is detail. I mean, she's wearing a necklace, and there's some detail on the dress here, but I'm going to paint that in later with probably a silver pen. Wait, I can't see what I'm doing here. Go right in there. Okay. Okay. I'm going to make sure I've covered everything in the right colour here and do a bit of cleanup, and I'll be back to you in a minute. I'm back again. Okay, that part's done. I'm going to move on to doing the hair now with this shining gold. I'll move it out of the way because I've only just opened these and I don't want it flying everywhere. I may just end up fast forwarding this anyway when I edit. Okay, this is slightly more complicated. It's kind of a halfway between powder and glitter, really. Yeah, more like a really fine glitter than actual powder. I'm not a painter, I don't have very steady hands. So there'll be quite a bit more to clean up on this part. Hoping you can see reasonably well what it is that I'm doing. I was hoping, I've actually got 3 parcels on the way from Temu. I was hoping they'd have been here by now because there were a few things in that I would have liked to have used for this collaboration, but well, hey, if one of them doesn't turn up today, at least I'll get a £5 back. I find it really interesting that I think all 3, although they were ordered obviously at different times, the first 2 were ordered just a day apart, and the third was a week later. But the third one was sent via a different courier from the first 2. And looks like the third one is going to be arriving before the others. So yeah, when you if you order from Temu yourself, check it out, see if similar thing happens with your orders. I know if they use a particular, I'm not going to mention the courier by name, but if they use a particular courier here in Spain at least, the orders tend to come pretty much at the limit of the time. I have once had to have the €5 back for a late delivery, and that was with the same courier. So I don't know if the same thing happens in other countries, but it'd be interesting to know. Okay, that's pretty much done for that part. I'm going to put you on pause again while I do the cleanup, and back again. Okay, so after the nightmare that was trying to get that gold off where it didn't belong, I've decided I'm going to leave this silver to the very last. I'm going to do the dress now in this fantasy purple, and then I'll move on to the awkward bits. Hopefully this isn't going to be too much of a pain. It would be easier if it was in a bottle, but I don't have a similar one in the bottled powders. Try and do the more detailed section up here first. As you can probably see, there are still bits of gold on there, but not the end of the world. It took me so long to be able to remove what I did get off there, I just kind of gave up the ghost after a while. I'm not the most patient of people, which is really, I suppose, you have to be reasonably patient with resin because it does take its time. But I can deal with that. Once it's in the mould and the resin is off sitting somewhere quietly setting, I can deal with that because I can always do other things. Although I am very impatient, which is why a heat mat is always a very good thing to have. You do need to be a little careful with it though. If you've seen the shell trinket box that I did, I actually put it on the heat mat too early and it did start to flash cure. I managed to rescue it, but it just shows you pay attention and have a little patience. Nearly there with this. Let's hope this is going to turn out the way I want it to. Kind of reminds me of the flower fairy dolls that were a thing when my daughter was a child. I don't know, maybe they still are. Yeah. My hand's in the way there, you're not seeing a lot, are you? Okay, I'm going to make sure everything's covered. Another little clean up. And we'll be back for the fiddly bit. See you in a minute. Ready for the next stage? As I said, I'm going to use this marbling powder, but rather than put it direct on the mould, I've got a little silicone pad here. I'm going to damp my brush with some alcohol and turn it into a paint if I can. So hopefully that will make it easier to get into the detail in here. I want to do just a thin little line. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. Paint it into the detail as carefully as possible. I mean, looking at it, I could probably have painted this on afterwards, and I probably will have to touch it up. But, okay, it's not too bad. So one more in there. So I'm actually standing up over my desk doing this. It's not the greatest thing in the world for my back, getting on a bit, you know. So yeah, if you can see there what I'm actually doing, hopefully. I'm just going to finish this one and then I'm going to Put you on pause while I finish it and clean up. And then we should be ready for the final part. Okay, so I'll see you in a few minutes. Well, a few minutes for you, seconds for you, probably more like an hour for me. Bye. Okay, we're getting near the finishing line now, thankfully. This has taken an awful lot longer than I originally thought it would. So now I'm going to pop this shining silver all over the wings. See how well this sticks to the mold. I was hoping it would be slightly opaque, and it is. Slightly transparent, and it looks like it will be. Doesn't really matter where else it goes now, because theoretically only the first colour that went down onto the mould will show through anyway. Oh, hey, it's a fairy. Needs a bit of sparkle. I sometimes think maybe I should practice with these powders and things before I film, but then I think, nah. If I'm going to be doing it for the first time, you might as well see it. Saves you making my mistakes. Not that I make many mistakes, of course. I do fib occasionally, obviously. I don't know if it's because of the whole stress of getting everything ready and making everything sure everything's to hand before I start filming, or what it is, but I make far more mistakes when I'm filming than I ever normally do. It's all about learning curves though, isn't it? Okay, I think we're nearly there. Just going to check everything is covered right up to the sides, brush off the excess, and mix up my resin, and I'll be back in a sec. Bye. Okay, final part before the demold. I've decided I'm going to back it rather than a plain white. I'm going to use this pearl violet. It's mostly white, it's just got a bit of a purple tinge to it. I thought that would look really pretty behind this. Probably would have been wise to open this before I put my gloves on, because now I can't get in there. Got it. What did I do? There it is. Just going to pop a couple of spoonfuls of this in. Using the Resin Pro eye crystal as usual. I've mixed up 150 grams, which is 100 grams of the part A, which is the resin, and 50 grams of part B, which is the hardener. Had a few minutes sitting on the heat mat to degas. It's starting to get a little warm, but it's mixing in nicely. And yet again, I forgot to mix the powder with alcohol. It's weird how I always remember to do these things unless I'm filming, because that prevents all, I'm sure you can see all the lumps of dry powder in here. So if you mix the powder with a little bit of alcohol, kind of turn it into a paste, it mixes in much easier. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see the little bit of a purple tinge to it. I don't want it to be completely opaque, although I think it will be. I think I put a little too much in, but it doesn't matter. I was hoping to be able to get some light shining through it, but I think I've gone a bit too far. Okay, I think that's, oops, no, see one there. Okay, that appears to be all the lumps mixed in. I am going to give this, excuse me, a quick spray of, what is this? It's a 96% alcohol. I just decanted into a spray bottle to make my life easier. Because there's so much detail in this, I don't want to get air bubbles to get trapped, especially in the face and the detail on the dress. Knew that was going to happen. Okay. Let's go. I'm going to start in the middle here. Move my stick out of the way. Apologies for any background noise. There's an apartment directly above my garage. And I have a friend staying there at the moment. Okay, I think I was fairly close with my estimate how much resin this was going to take. I can see the mold isn't completely level. Now the table is. I double triple checked it this morning. But yeah, it seems a little high on the edges here, so the tips of the wings are going to be a little thin. I can't put too much more in the middle unless I find some way of lifting it here, because we're very close to the top. Anyway, I'll think about it, and I'll see you for the demold. Laters. Hi, here we are for pretty much the final part. This has been on the heat mat for a couple of hours. Keep everything crossed. This feels like it's been a very long time in the coming, although it was only a few hours ago I started it. Well, the mold has come out clean, so hopefully that means everything is on the actual piece. So here we go. Oh yeah, that turned out really well. I'm very pleased with that. You can see the purplish cast of the powder behind. And you know what? I don't think I'm going to do very much to this at all. Maybe put a little detail on the dress, but I'm going to have to think about that because I actually quite like it as it is, without the detail. So the problem I've got with these pens, which pretty much like everything else came from Temu, is that the nib is actually quite thick, and I really don't want to spoil the whole piece by going over. And there's this piece in the hair as well. Kind of like a little flowery crown. Turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. Really don't want to overdo it, and kind of think quite often less is more, really. Zoom in a little on this. You can see the detail and the colouring a little better. I'm not going to attempt to paint in the face because I think that will spoil it. Yeah, my painting skills aren't good enough to actually make a decent job of that. I will just paint in this little detail on the dress. I can't concentrate on this and make any sense when I'm talking at the same time. So there we go. The eyes are shut. I may, if I get brave enough, just put the detail in on the lips. I've got a little overspill here. Generally use this cuticle tool for trimming small pieces like this. Yeah, I think we're pretty much there now. Probably better if I zoom out again, but forgot I'd zoomed in the first place. There we go. Okay, I'll see if it needs tidying up anywhere else. Take it out in the sunshine and get you some pictures. And don't forget to check out the playlist down below. It's not only resin artists, many other different types of crafts. As I said, this one is the fantasy theme. I'm sure there'll be something in there to catch your attention. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye.